Welcome to the Red Piranha Knowledge Sprint series. It's December 2024 and we're going to be looking at how to secure your future with the transition to WireGuard VPN with Red Piranha. In this video, we'll be covering Red Piranha, a quick introduction. We'll be looking at also why VPN is so important. Following on from that, we'll look at why WireGuard is such a big step from traditional SSL VPN. We'll be looking at the benefits of single sign-on or SSO. We'll then be looking at the Red Piranha solution and what it can offer. There'll be a short video showing on how to configure Entra ID Single Sign-On with Crystal-Eye XDR, and then we'll be going over the user experience using WireGuard Single Sign-On. Founded out of frustration in 2015, Red Piranha has sought to deliver cybersecurity outcomes for all businesses. Red Piranha is a recognized innovation pioneer of cybersecurity technologies, and our key product is Crystal-Eye XDR, an extended detection and response platform that has been recognized globally for comprehensive threat detection, prevention, and response. Our systematic approach to our business has allowed us to attain ISO 9001 and 27001 certification, to name a couple of our recognized compliance efforts. We are proud members of Team Defence Australia and contributing members to the Global Cyber Threat Alliance. We follow a holistic, secure by design principle with the aim to deliver compliance-driven solutions to all of our clients. Our unique approach to delivering a SOC as a service lets businesses outsource their threat intelligence and response workloads to our operations. So why is VPN a part of our security toolset? Well, it gives us the ability to give access and secure access to resources over what would otherwise be an insecure communications channel. It allows us to manage that access to allow only the authorized personnel. It also gives us the ability to log activities of our remote workforce. So why WireGuard? SSL VPN has been in use for quite some time, so we're actually very excited to be offering something like WireGuard as an alternative to the established offerings. The big advantage we see with WireGuard is the reduced code base. This reduced code base means that it's more secure due to the reduced complexity. It's cryptographically advanced, so it's using the current encryption algorithms. The lightweight architecture ensures high performance. It reduces the engineering overhead because it is simple to configure and manage, and also, of course, cross-platform support is very important too. Now, why are we excited about single sign-on? Well, it's another technology that's addressing user authentication and management. So we're able to consolidate the authentication. The simplified management also means that it is a lot easier with less engineering overhead to manage the day-to-day operations with single sign-on. Single sign-on also means that we don't have multiple areas of authentication. This greatly reduces our attack surface. It also means an improved user experience, and of course, with an improved user experience comes enhanced productivity. So what does the Red Piranha solution offer? Well, because of single sign-on, we're actually able to synchronize and centralize the account management. Single sign-on also leverages the Entra ID authentication. And we also have some future functionalities coming out where we expect to be able to control the Entra ID tenancy through the Crystal-Eye user interface. Now we've got a short video here showing how to configure Entra and the Crystal-Eye XDR appliance.
First, we need to log into Entra Admin Center and to the Crystal-Eye. In Entra, we'll go to Enterprise Applications and create a new application. And we'll create our own application and we'll give it a name. And we'll make it integrate any other application. While this loads, we'll go into Crystal-Eye. And under system configuration, we'll go to single sign-on. And we'll add a new profile. And we need to make sure that the Federation Identity Protocol is SAML and the provider is Entra. Now back in Entra, we will set up single sign-on. And we'll go SAML. Okay, and then we're going to take the app federation metadata URL, copy that into the profile. We'll take the Microsoft Entra identifier, copy that to Crystal Eye, and we'll give this a name. And now we're going to take the reply URL from Crystal Eye, and we'll edit the SAML configuration in the Entra app. And we'll take the identifier, copy that in as well. Hit save. Now that's saved, before we test it, we'll add some permissions. Add users and groups, so we'll go for all users. Now that we have assigned the permissions, we need to sync IDP metadata, and then we'll test the sign-in. And that means that it is working. And now back in the Entra app, we now need to register the app and the API. So we'll find the app we just created. And now we will go to API permissions and add permission. Now I need to enter these 16 permissions with Microsoft Graph application permissions. Add them. And just when you've confirmed that you've got all these 16, hit grant admin consent. Okay, and now we need to generate a secret. So we'll go to certificates and secrets and new client secret. We'll give it a name. And we'll use the recommended 6-month expiry. Add. And while we have the screen open, we'll go back into the Crystal Eye. Under compliance controls, Microsoft 365, M365 Policy Manager. We're going to add a new tenant. And we'll take the value from the secret in Entra, copy that in, give it a name. And then we'll get the application and the tenant ID from the overview tab here. Add that. Now we'll enable the tenant. And then to confirm this is working, we'll go to the identity management, load the users tab. Now that we see the users, that means that the tenant is now connected. So now that the single sign-on for Entra is configured, we can go ahead and create the WireGuard single sign-on. So in security configuration, advanced firewall, first we're going to create a new zone for WireGuard. Just need to give it a name. We can leave all the settings as is. And now under network control, SD-WAN, go to WireGuard, and we'll create a new WireGuard tunnel. And we'll assign that to the zone we just created. Go ahead and give it IP. It can be any IP as long as it doesn't conflict with any other VPNs. Same with the server port. Generate a key. And we'll enable full tunnel mode and SSO authentication. If you don't want a full tunnel, if you untick that, you can then select which subnets you want to have access. And then we'll set the last handshake timeout to 60 minutes. Add that. And now that the WireGuard VPN is set up, all we need to do is add permissions to allow users to access internal subnets and resources. So we'll go back to advanced firewall and we'll add a traffic rule. And the source zone will be the WireGuard SSO, the one we just created. And then the destination will be the subnet or zone that you want them to have access to. In this case, we'll be using LAN. The name. And then in advanced settings, we can then select the permissions. So we can add a user group. So we'll add all users. And now we have configured WireGuard SSO.
Next, we're going to take a look at how the WireGuard application by Red Piranha with single sign-on works for the end user. Now, just a quick note, at the moment we are only supporting Windows, but there are plans to include other versions for Apple, Mac OS, iOS, Android, and of course Linux. So of course we're going to start off with a quick speed test. It's really nice to see how the performance changes, and in this case it doesn't change a lot. Now we do have to note that there is a change, and that change is the location at which we're attaching to the internet thanks to the VPN. It's actually doing its job. So as you can see, the download is decent, upload is not too bad either. We'll let this complete, and then we'll get into opening a WireGuard session using single sign-on. Right, with those details confirmed, let's go on and start with our single sign-on login. All you need is the IP address or the fully qualified domain name for your WireGuard server. You start your single sign-on authentication. Username and password is all that's needed. Click on next. Get that password in. And we'll choose, in this case, to not stay signed in, but you can just stay signed in if you like. Now we start the connection. And the connection is complete. So we're now running with Red Piranha WireGuard single sign-on. Comprehensive logging there. Now let's go and have a look at the speed test. just to compare. Now, once again, note that we are accessing the internet from a different location thanks to WireGuard. I'm sure you'll find that when we test it again, it's still going to be quite decent. So there's the results. WireGuard is still able to perform pretty well. We have changed location, so the speeds are going to be different, but you can still see that the speeds we have are still quite decent. Now, to terminate the connection, you simply click on deactivate.